G'day guys, Mark from Tat the Automotive Technician. You'd have to agree with me that intermittent faults are the worst. They can drive you absolutely insane, and there's so many variables to be taken into account: temperature, heat, vibration, the list goes on and on. I'd like to share with you a case study that I did last year on a Nissan Navara 2010 model D40 with a 2.5 litre diesel engine in it. It had an intermittent starting fault as well as another side fault that got sorted out later on. Now this vehicle was brought in from another workshop and it had an intermittent starting fault, and it was temperature related. At the time it was extremely hot. It was around about 33 degrees and the vehicle would only play up around about 16-17 degrees, so it had to be caught out earlier on in the day. I couldn't actually get it to play up, but here's a short video that I found that has a very similar sort of situation. Obviously, one of the first things I did was do a full system scan, and it came up with various faults. I tested the NAT system using this little tester that you can buy off of eBay for next to nothing, and then hooked up my oscilloscope to have a look at the waveform to see the signals being sent backwards and forwards to the BCM and then off to the ECU. However, as I stated, this was a very intermittent fault. It would come and go. There were other faults as well, including loose battery terminals, wires galore all over the place, which made the situation worse. Another fault that the customer noticed only 2 weeks after purchasing the vehicle was the shift lock was not working. The interlock wasn't working properly. It would lock into gear and he'd have to manually press the button to get it out. He took it to Nissan. They didn't want to know anything about it, so he'd put up with it for, 14 years or something as a result. So this one was a bit of a curly one. During the original scan, one of the fault codes that came up was a U1000. Now that's a fairly common communication fault, but I needed to take that one seriously as well. I hooked up a breakout box to the DLC, connected it to my Pico oscilloscope and had a look at the waveforms. They were a little bit off, they weren't quite right. Some of the voltages were higher than others and the waveform was inconsistent at times. Now one of the problems associated with this vehicle was trying to get an accurate wiring diagram. And I did end up finding a genuine one, but it was very sketchy with regard to the communication side of things, the network side of things. This being a temperature related fault, I decided to put both the BCM as well as the ECU in the freezer for about an hour, in Ziploc bags of course, just to see if it played up, I could get it to play up. No such luck. For me, it just would not play up. But I had this weird waveform that I needed to contend with. So I did some basic checks. And what I found that on the high side of things, there was a variation of resistance, fluctuation. Of course, going from a wire end to a wire end, we should end up with, whatever it is, 0.5 of an ohm, something along those lines. And this fella here would vary between that, 30, 60, 90, and then it would go infinity. So I knew I had some sort of a connection issue, something along those lines, corrosion perhaps, but trying to trace those wires was a nightmare. Now this is a star configuration network, so it goes from a central point out, and I was trying to find that star point, or one of the star points, there was various ones, to try and locate where the fault might be. It was on the high side of CAN, which was a blue wire. That was the guy I needed to chase. So I went from the BCM to the ECU, that was the dodgy one. I went to the instrument cluster, that was all okay. Believe it or not, I eventually found the star connector not on the driver's side where all the instrument cluster, BCM, ECU and everything else is kept, but way over on the passenger's side. Very, very confusing. And guess what I found? This was clearly a fault from new. A connector on the passenger's side had not been pushed together correctly from new. So therefore, when it was cold, the terminals would pull away from one another and have poor connection. As it heated up, it was just enough to contact them correctly and have no issue with starting, running, etc. So I pulled that connector apart, checked for cleanliness, absolutely pristine, did a terminal retention check, absolutely perfect. All it needed was to be pushed together correctly. Remember, this fault occurred 2 weeks after the vehicle was bought brand new in 2010. So not only was his starting issue sorted, but also, believe it or not, that interlock was working once again. It was only by methodically following the data that I could find this particular fault, particularly having a good understanding of how CAN works and the voltages associated with it and the waveform appearance. So I put in a repair solution that you guys can view, and there's thousands of repair solutions for everyone to share and contribute to as well. This makes our day in the workshop a lot easier when we can look at what others have done and the solutions that they have found. Hopefully you got something from this video today, guys, and don't forget to look up repair solutions. It's an invaluable tool on the TAT website. So until next time we catch up on another video, guys, this is Mark from TAT signing off. I'll catch you later.